on the next episode of Sip Suds and Smokes.
Today's episode is a brewery takeover. Hoppin Frog is an artisanal brewery in Akron, Ohio.
First, we'll be starting off with Smashing Honey Blonde. Then we'll be making a segue into B.O.R.I.S the Crusher, Oatmeal Imperial Stout. And then we'll segue over to Frogichlaus. Frogichlaus? I can't with the spelling, guys. Swiss-style celebration lager. Sounds like a dessert cake. Probably is. Then we'll move on to Plum Tuckered-Out double-decker porter. Double-double porter. Double-double. Right? And then 5 down to... We'll move to Den Haag English-style Imperial Old Ale. That was 2 A's. That was not an A with an umlaut. Just want to be clear about that.
Haag.
We'll be right back after this break.
Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sip Suds and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds, suds, suds. It's time for more suds.
Hello, everyone. Let's get comfortable. Welcome to another Sud segment where we believe that life is precious and shouldn't be wasted by bad beer. Those are words to live by. I'm one of your hosts, good old gal Julieanna, and joining me today at the table is good old boy Kendall.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
Hi.
Hi.
Good old boy Carl. Hi.
Greetings.
Good old boy Sparky.
I'm not wearing pants.
Of course you're not. Good old boy Dave.
I took Sparky's pants.
Figures. Okay. Today's episode is a brewery takeover. Hoppin Frog is an artisanal brewery in Akron, Ohio. They opened in 2006 and have won numerous awards, including a gold medal at the 2023 GABF, or Great American Beer Festivals, that for those of you that don't know the short version, for one of their beers that we have in the lineup today. But I'm not going to tell you which one. We'll just have to wait and see. So, do you guys know anything about Hoppin Frog? Have you had Hoppin Frogs before?
I've had them before, and I know that they make their labels and logos with MS Paint.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
You know what? I have heard conversations about their logos on other beer podcasts, so it's great that we went there.
I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off. It's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
It's distinctive, you know.
That's a word for it.
Some would say old school.
Sure, yeah. Sure.
Now, I remember probably about 10, 12 years ago, first finding these on a trip to Ohio. And yeah, pretty quickly figured out they made a lot of good, big barrel-aged beers.
They definitely lean heavy on the booze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. Speaking of which, good old boy Sparky, since look like you're feeling froggy today, why don't you give us today's lineup?
You got it. All right. So first we'll be starting off with Smashing Honey Blonde. Then we'll be making a segue into B.O.R.I.S the Crusher, Oatmeal Imperial Stout. And then we'll segue over to Frogichlaus. Frogichlaus? I can't with the spelling, guys. Swiss-style celebration lager. Sounds like a dessert cake. Probably is.
You have to pretend that you're Swedish and say.
Then we'll move on to Plum Tuckered-Out double-decker porter. Double-double porter. Double-double. Right? And then 5 down to... We'll move to Den Haag English-style Imperial Old Ale. That was 2 A's. That was not an A with an umlaut. Just want to be clear about that.
Haag.
Cool. Perfect. And then if time permits, we may have a beer or 2 or
3.
Something.
5.
Dear my family, I'm really sorry about that potential. Just want to get that out there. Disclaimer, makes
Maybe
me
they
legally covered in case of...
Man forcibly removed from dances.
Maybe
recital.
they won't notice.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, thank you, Sparky. Okay, good old boy Carl, why don't you give us the Suds ratings for today?
All right, we're going to be discussing and rating these beers with these Suds ratings, plus our signature belching sounds, as revolting as they are. Here are those ratings now. Number 1, that sucks. Give me anything but an Iron City beer.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Hey, he knows
He
what side of the
represented your
state's better.
side, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's the Pittsburgh side. That's gross.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It tastes like glue.
Yes.
2, was that a belch? 3, what a relief. 4, a body really should not make this sound. And 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
It's like he was born for this role.
That
Not
was
my first rodeo.
That was perfect. Okay, let's get to the frogs. The first one that we're going to talk about is very benign in the scheme of things. It is the Smashing Honey Blonde, coming in at 5.2% ABV. Light and refreshing with a splash of honey to add some awesome flavor and fun. It's just simply smashing. And a recent GABF award winner.
Whoever makes their labels also writes their copy.
Ish. Yeah.
Old
Okay.
school.
Old school. Thoughts?
The floralness of the honey surprised me. In a
yeah.
good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. Yeah, I don't know what kind of honey it is, but...
If you like honey in a beer, this is a good beer for you.
I mean, I thought the
you're
honey was
right,
really
though.
pretty
Yeah.
delicately applied.
Yeah, no, not...
It just, a lot of times you start talking about specialty ingredients in beer, they tend to just clobber you like a hammer.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, it's really, I thought the honey was well placed and balanced.
Well, and sometimes if you use honey, it just dries the beer out and you don't get what you maybe thought you were going to get. But this one, I agree. I mean, I like honey beers, and I think this is about right where you want it to be.
Yeah, no, this is impressive to me, and I could see why this won. It's, I don't know, blonde. I have a hard time with blonde beers because I'm usually like expecting more, and I get a lot less out of it, and then I feel like I'm just drinking water. But this
They are blonde, though. I mean, you shouldn't expect too much.
So this one, though, has a lot of flavor. Yeah, the honey has got like a nice floral component to it. It's a little like champagne-y at the end, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just very pleasant. I mean, it's not necessarily like a lawn-mowing, crushing, hot, like summer beer, but it's really pleasant considering the assault of things to come, you know?
Yeah, and to piggyback, I'm sorry. I'm like, Carl
Go
was
ahead.
just saying, like, it is really well applied. I mean, it just kind of fits in like a glove there. It's not too much in your face.
And,
Yeah.
you know, to win medals, I think you have to send in beers that are over the top. Like, you got to think about this board of judges who are sampling beer after beer after beer after beer. And so in order for something to stand out and medal, it oftentimes needs to be almost an imperial version of what that style really ought to be. And I think the judges did a great job on this, because this is a very well balanced and delicate beer that you might not expect to medal at that level, because it's got to compete with so many other things that judges got to try.
It is soft and delicate, but one of the things I noticed is the carbonation of this really is what's making those flavors pop.
Yeah.
And it you can browse. It's a really fine carbonation, but it kind of just makes the beer dance on your tongue, and it's just a beautiful soft beer.
Well said.
Yeah, considering like the honey that's in it that, you know, would kind of make the carbonation harder. Yeah, this is beautiful. And we are going to rate this.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
kinda
going to
have
go
to.
5 on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're gonna go 5.
Yeah, let's do it.
So pleasant. Like, yeah. Like, and honestly, for what we have to come, like in terms
thank
of the
you for
ABVs,
not hurting us to begin
no,
with.
but it's nice to know that they can make something on the light side too.
I look
you know?
around this room and I see nothing but untapped potential.
I would like to have no one ever use the term untapped on a program that I'm involved with.
Oh, too soon.
Fair. Okay, so let's move on to what I think of when I think of Hoppin Frog is the B.O.R.I.S, the Crusher. I mean, and there's many iterations of this out there, but this is kind of the original and the base product, if you will. Coming in at 9.4%. This is an Imperial Russian, it's an bodacious oatmeal Russian Imperial Stout that will crush you like no other. It's the granddaddy of all stout styles. Deep roasted and full-bodied flavor, and the head on this was just
It's beautiful.
It's
right?
So dark.
It seems contradictory to me in a way of a Russian Imperial oatmeal stout, though. I don't know, like, because they seem like those are two different avenues that stouts go down.
But I think that's where Hoppin Frog really made a big leap. And they did something nobody else in the industry was doing, because B.O.R.I.S is special. And I think what makes B.O.R.I S special is the oatmeal stout side of it. So it was unique, and it caught everybody's attention, and they made something really cool out of it.
That creamy mouth feel and
But when you say roastiness, my God, I mean, this is like, you know, the perfect snapshot of all of the coffee, roasted-y, dark chocolate things you're looking for.
without that burnt character, you know.
There's not the sour. I think, any bitterness is kind of offset by the oatmeal piece, but
Yeah, and it's so roasty, it's almost nutty. And I think that is really kind of an interesting component, because a lot of times these, when they get real roasty, they can come across as astringent.
Yeah.
And I don't really get a lot of astringency out of it, but I definitely get like nuts, like almost like roasted peanut almost.
yeah, and you know, and I think one of the really cool things is they've sold a lot of this, right? I mean, this is a very popular beer.
Oh, yeah.
They could maybe like go from MS Paint to Photoshop, or maybe pay somebody perhaps to make
And once again,
labels. Just a thought.
Well, and the thing is, they medal gold with this in 2008 and 2011. Like, so this has been a while since they've been brewing this, you know, and I mean, granted,
It's always solid.
I remember tasting it back then, and I can't really compare to see if it's apples and oranges, but it's really consistent. It tastes consistent and dialed into me.
I wish I'd had this during that big snow that we had a bit ago. This would have been a good, snowpocalypse beer.
It's one of my favorite Imperial stouts, and I think it is the oatmeal that's doing it. It softens everything, and it just makes it a really nice drinking beer. A lot of them can be harsh.
Yeah, they can. They can almost be too astringent in the roastiness. I like the slickness. Like it's just slick enough, if that makes any sense, and it's not too oily for me. It seems balanced and decent.
And like to your earlier point, like there's B.O.R.I.S the Crusher, then there's B.O.R.I.S the Candy Crusher, and like Doris the
B.O.R.I.S the Super Crusher,
or I don't know, like K.O.R.I.S the Quasher, quadruple. Then there's Taurus the triple. Yeah, like they have everything, man. It's crazy.
That they do.
B.O.R.I.S was what started. Yeah, the whole thing.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute to finish this up. Welcome back, everyone. Today is a Hoppin Frog takeover. For those of you that don't know, Hoppin Frog is a brewery from Akron, Ohio. And right before the break, we were talking about B.O.R.I.S the Crusher, Oatmeal Imperial Stout. It's a 9.4% ABV beer. And I think we kind of pretty much said what we wanted to say about it. We are going to rate this a 5. Yeah. All right. Now, Sparky, let's get into a little story time.
All right, guys. Well, something came across my desk, and I just want to make sure the world knows about it. Man arrested after naked dive into aquarium at Alabama Bass Pro Shop. George Owens, 42, was arrested after he allegedly stripped naked and jumped into a Bass Pro Shop aquarium.
Oh, I heard about this.
It's real?
Yes.
Alabama, man.
Kendall gets around a lot, so I mean, who knows?
A man was arrested and will be charged Friday after he dove naked into the aquarium at a Bass Pro Shop in Leeds, Alabama. Leeds Police Chief Paul Irwin said the incident happened shortly before the store closed. The 42-year-old man reportedly began acting erratically and intentionally drove a vehicle into a pole in the store parking lot. The chief said the man's family told police he suffers from mental illness. Oh, this is sad now.
Well, this took a turn.
After the crash, police said the suspect exited the vehicle, stripped off his clothes, and ran into the Bass Pro Shop. Once inside, the man jumped into the aquarium. George Owens, 42, was arrested Thursday night after he allegedly got naked and dove into the Bass Pro Shop aquarium. Irwin said officers were dispatched to the store to remove the man from the fish tank. The suspect was belligerent and refused to cooperate with officers' instructions to get out of the water. 2 Leeds officers were seen attempting to talk to the man in a video recorded by a bystander reported to AL.com. As the officers walked up to the store stairs and approached the aquarium, the man exited the water, yelled something to the officers, and then dove back into the water, the report said. He was very erratic and was saying a lot of nasty things to the officers, Irwin told Fox News Digital. Owens faces an array of charges from disorderly conduct and public lewdness for his alleged behavior at a Bass Pro Shop. The man continued to shout at the officers before he climbed over the side of the aquarium and fell to the concrete. Jeez! Ouch! Naked injuries from a height? Good God.
Oh,
Concrete is not
And was
forgiving.
apparently knocked out. Well, that ended predictably. The officers placed the man in handcuffs, and then he awoke and attempted to struggle. Irwin said he assaulted one of the officers with a kick. He could have just been practicing some dance moves. Lay off him.
That's fair.
The man was then covered by a blanket and escorted out of the store, according to AL.com. Irwin said that his officers attempted to place the suspect in the patrol car. The man kicked the vehicle door strongly and damaged the door frame.
Wow.
Good God.
gosh.
Okay,
This guy went hard the
he
whole
kind of
way.
went Hulk mode there. Shoppers view the aquarium display at Bass Pro Shops inside the there's no way to pronounce that word. Mills Mall in Swat, British Columbia. I guess more things happening there. That's a thing for them. The suspect was taken to a hospital for treatment and a mental health evaluation before he was booked into the St. Clair County Jail. Jail records show that George Owens said will face an array of charges, including public lewdness and 2 counts of criminal mischief, second-degree assault, resisting arrest, disorderly conflict, and hitting the pole and damaging the patrol car, and 2 counts of reckless endangerment for how he drove the vehicle. The sheriff said Owens is likely to be released on bond, and let's hope Mr. Owens gets the mental help that he needs.
Yes,
Poor
I think
guy.
that's the main point of the
Yes.
story. Mental health is something that should be addressed.
My takeaway is it okay to swim in the Bass Pro Aquarium if you're wearing a swimsuit?
If you are and are not publicly insulting officers, you're probably straight.
Yeah.
You got this.
And
Well,
I
I think-
live next to one. I should try.
I think
mean-
the rudeness was the part that,
right.
you know,
So it
I
could
think
be
that's
very
what got him in
polite.
trouble.
Be very
Yeah.
polite
Yeah.
and wear clothes.
And don't hit a pole.
Have you ever been to the pro shop in the Pyramid in Memphis?
No.
So Big Bass Pro Shop in a pyramid right on the Mississippi River in Memphis.
Right.
For those of you who are listening somewhere not near Memphis, there is a giant pyramid there with a Bass Pro Shop in it. And we were there for a beer festival, I don't know, a couple years ago. And there's a restaurant in the Bass Pro Shop that used to serve alcohol. I don't think they do anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because
Probably for that reason.
They had to stop because of the mischief that was happening. Because they've got you know, the big fish with the teeth, gars.
Yeah.
Right. They've got some gars that they've got a large female one that they call Mama Gar that lives in there.
Okay.
They said this one guy came out, was drunk and disorderly.
Oh, no.
And punched the gar.
What?
In the water. It's a giant thing with huge teeth.
Yeah.
Punches it.
Oh, because that's a good thing.
And then punched it again.
Oh,
And
because
it
once
bit
isn't
his
enough.
hand clean off.
Shut up.
I kind of like the
course
ending.
she did.
I like that ending to that
I like
story.
it. Yeah, I like
that's,
happy
that's
endings.
FAFO.
I'm on Mama
You
Gar's
punch a
side
gar?
on that.
Yeah,
Give us a
absolutely.
hand.
Because I asked the staff person, I'm like, how many people, you know, what kind of crazy stuff? And he's like, you would not believe. And it's always adults. It's never kids.
Yeah,
like
that's-
you would
that
think,
tracks.
oh, a kid fell in the water. No,
Probably
Well, it's a good
always
thing that story.
men.
yes,
Yeah.
just
Male
Oh, yeah.
adults.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Drunken morons.
You know what's really crazy is I heard that there's a Bass Pro Shops in the Great Pyramid at Giza. So, yeah.
Tut, that's not funny.
I'm going to give you that one, buddy.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting story. But it sounds like he had frequented that. Because how do you know what I mean?
Actually, I am told that he did a radio show episode and drank multiple 14% ABV beers.
He was a little
before
loaded.
that. It actually wasn't a mental health episode. As
okay,
it got
yeah.
cleared up afterwards.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not too far away from our Bass Pro to
About 10
Kendall's
minutes.
point.
That's all of us are going to Jason Kelsey it up in here.
Get it.
All right. Well,
Keep your pants on, Sparky.
All
we
right,
may
I'm
be
ready.
testing that theory, folks.
All right.
We'll keep you posted.
Well, let's get froggy.
Okay, moving on. Let's get into something double digity. We're gonna go to the Frogichlaus Swiss style celebration lager. It's not that bad.
No, it's
14.1% ABV, creamy Swiss style celebration lager with a malty taste and aroma, low bitterness, reddish brown color. Yep, that's what it is.
Check.
Yep. And it's a perfect beer to settle down from a cold winter's nap.
It also is a great beer to remove your nose hairs because now I don't have any anymore. Just they're gone. No,
Well,
it's
you're
pretty
clean,
bounced. It's
right?
true.
It's a nice
true.
grooming aid.
They'll grow back in 3 days. That's the best part.
There you go.
Delightful.
What do you think, Kendall?
A lot of toffee.
Yeah.
Big caramelly notes. It's a rich beer. It doesn't say anywhere in the description, but this has got to be a tribute to the Samichlaus, which was
Yeah.
out of Austria for a while.
Yes.
I don't think they make that anymore, but that was a big beer that I remember when I was getting into craft beer, everybody was jonesing about that every time Christmas came around.
And this took bronze at 2021 GABF
Good Lord.
and then won silver at the World Beer Cup in 22.
What do you think, Carl?
I thought it was great.
Oops.
Did you just drop that on the floor?
I did.
Uh-oh. Man down.
There was nothing in it, though.
Oh, well. that's-
It
that's a
was
relief.
on E.
I mean, I really like these kind of big beers. I'm more of a malt guy than I am necessarily a hop forward guy. And
Same girl. Same.
I don't know. I thought this well earned accolades.
Yeah.
What do you think about the packaging?
So it's interesting. This one comes in little 8-ounce cans that like they look almost like tomato paste, right? They're just
Yep.
sort of slightly
Yeah,
larger than
that's
a
same.
tomato paste can.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating to me because somebody who, like in Tennessee, we can only brew up to 10.1 alcohol by volume before it's considered liquor. So without a distiller's permit, like I work at Black Abbey, so Black Abbey only makes beer up to 10.1 because we don't have a
okay,
distiller's permit. And all of our big beers go into 16-ounce cans. We sell them in 16-ounce 4-packs, which I think is insane.
Yes.
Like, why would you not put the big beers in smaller cans?
Sure.
That is
right.
seemingly the way of the industry.
It is.
It's a good idea.
With the exception, apparently, of Hoppin Frog that puts their huge beers in these, I'm just going to say, cute little 8-ounce cans.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think this is a great idea. Well, it's 8.45 ounces.
And that's as much as I want in one drinking if I'm going to finish.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, when
this
you
makes
go
it
to- yeah.
so that you can drink it by yourself.
When
right?
you
If
go to a
want
lot of tap rooms, when it's a really big beer, they'll generally give you an 8-ounce pour
Right.
instead of
Yes.
16 or something.
we draw the
Anyways.
line in our tap room at 8. Anything over 8 gets, we call them short pours. Like
Yeah.
you get a short pour. But I mean, when they come in large format, you're setting yourself up for a share, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Like
gonna
you
the-
have to. Then.
Yeah, I got a 10%
Or you
beer
have a
in a
problem.
16-ounce can. Right.
It's really.
Or a
Yes.
long nap.
Yeah.
You just drink them right in the car. It's fine.
Yeah. That's true.
Please note, do not drink these in the car.
Please.
Yes.
Unless
But-
it's a car parked in your front yard.
Even then, the keys better we'd be inside.
On
But yeah,
blocks.
I really like the idea of these tiny little cans. I think they look cool, but I also think it limits your distribution options because this is not going to be something you're going to find in a grocery store.
No,
Certainly not in Tennessee,
sure,
but
sure.
even in Ohio where the laws are probably different. Trying to put that on the shelf with things that are 12 ounce or 16 ounce or 19.2 it's a very different format. So I imagine that they struggle if they want grocery distro on
Yeah.
something like this. Which they
Yeah,
may
but
not.
Maybe that's not their thing. I mean, and honestly, would you want to have this available at the grocery store?
Well, no, and you see that trend of all these smaller canned cocktails that, you know,
That's
I think
what
this kind
I
of
initially thought of, like
thoughts
little
and-
RTDs. Yeah.
Yeah.
RTDs for sure.
I mean, we're getting ready to add liquor by the drink in our tap room, and so we've been investigating what the availability is, right? And so one of the brands we're looking at is something called Cutwater, and these Cutwater canned cocktails, you know, they're 13-14%, but they come in 12-ounce cans, and so it's a challenge trying to think about who's going to buy this and what are we going to charge for it?
Yeah.
Because it's really 2 cocktails, right? I mean,
Sure.
12-ounce can, 2 6-ounce cocktails. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you don't want to charge somebody $20 for a 12-ounce can. That seems crazy. But at the same time, do you want to give somebody a 12-ounce can of basically 12 ounces of wine, right? 12 ounces of 14-15% something is a lot for one person to drink.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Weird world that we live in. What a time to be alive.
It is. I know.
It is.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
So
It
actually,
totally
I looked up
is.
the label of the Sandwich Claus beer, and it's pretty much,
homage.
it is a tribute. It's
Yeah.
not the same font, but it sure is close, and it's very much styled like the Sandwich Claus label.
Yeah. So, I
wonderful
mean,
tribute.
Yeah, no, it really is.
think
And
they-
and this
yeah.
is still available. So yay to that.
And I think they do a barrel-aged version of this Frogichlaus.
That would be nice.
yeah, I can
This is-
see.
So what do we want to rate?
This is gorgeous. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
I'm sorry.
gorgeous.
Go ahead.
Sorry if I may for
go ahead,
2
please,
seconds.
please.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, I wouldn't want to drink this in the summer, but say it.
It's
just
a
say it.
great winter beer.
Oh, it is. It is. And I wish we had this. Like,
I'm gonna
for
drink
the
it when I'm
snow
mowing the yard
apocalypse,
next time.
Right? Oh, whatever. What shall we rate this, guys?
Yeah.
5. Yeah, let's go 5.
It's so good.
Okay, moving on up in the double digits to 16.8% ABV. Yeah, let's clear our palates with some agua.
I love this speed round format. This is fun.
Yeah.
We are
Nobody will get
going
hurt.
to go with the Plum Tuckered-Out double porter. Yeah. Okay, an abundance of plum makes this powerhouse of a porter amazingly smooth and delicious. Aromas of raisins and dark fruit about, creating an immensely satisfying complexity and depth. A marathon of fermentation. When brewer's yeast pushes to this level of alcohol at 16.8%, it is Plum Tuckered Out.
What about the liquidy part? Can you drink the liquidy part?
For those of you listening, I would just like to point out something that I saw Kendall do and describe it to you because I think it's valuable. When you're smelling beer, I saw Kendall sniff the back of his hand. And that's a great way to reset your olfactory.
Okay.
Because it's like, all right, I've been smelling beer, I've been smelling whatever. You smell the back of your hand, you're going to get whatever your natural oil, your kind of own scent,
your musk.
hand soap or whatever, but it resets your olfactory sense. So
Unless you've had your hand
I just like
in a
smelling myself.
I mean,
I've seen him do that outside of the beer
He does.
context.
He does. And it's not always his hand either.
it's like that Saturday Night Live sketch. Yeah,
But a great tip to reset your palate.
but
Depends on where your hand's been, though. too.
it's like I don't know. When you start talking about styles that are not normally imperial, like porter,
Yeah.
you know, the origin of porter was about its another term I hate, drinkability, right? Like it's a beer that you should be able to drink a couple of them and not get destroyed. To have a double or an imperial variant of that style kind of gives me a headache.
Because then they went stout porter,
Yeah,
and
they
that's
made
where
a
it's stout.
more intense
Yeah.
porter. It's called Stout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big contradiction in terms, and this doesn't taste at all to me porterly.
No.
Like, you know.
that a word?
Well, there's that little bit of Tootsie Roll chocolatiness that Mike always talks about.
Okay.
I like this.
I think you would like this.
Right. Save him one. You should save him one. I mean, I can't. It's not flawed in any way. This is just my own.
No, it's just a lot, man. I mean, it is
a lot. It does not taste, which is scary and maybe a more commentary on me. It does not taste like 16%, which is
I think
Maybe
it does.
a warning sign.
Yeah, I do too.
It's hard to find a porter in this. To kind of Carl's point, it's like I'm like in a big barrel aged
doesn't
stout
have the
kind of
intense
mode.
roast that a stout has. To me, that's the difference. It's on the sweeter.
Yeah,
It's on the sweeter
that's
side.
fair.
Yeah, it is.
I think it is fair to call it a porter.
Now, what do you plums? Are you tasting lots of plums in this?
I'm not.
Yeah,
Same.
I'm not either.
Yeah,
I
get that
initially-
Tootsie Roll
the
chocolate.
very
I definitely
first
get a little
it
bit of
smelled-
raisinated kind of stuff.
There's
It's
some
not
raisin.
necessarily plums.
But not a lot of plum.
Prunes?
We'll find out in a little bit.
Yeah.
Do we know
And
The-
may I say
the date
though,
on this one? I'm wondering if the plums just kind of fade out quickly.
Nobody knows where the can is.
No.
Oh, I found another can. I don't
Here.
think.
Yeah. It actually is 16%. I believe it now.
Well, I
don't think there's a date.
I don't see
yeah.
anything on the bottom.
Because that fruit could be so delicate that it can fade quickly if you don't put much in it. If
Well,
it's
and
subtle.
especially with so much else going on
Yeah.
in there too.
And did it? Maybe I wasn't listening. Did it say there's actual plum in it, or are they
Yeah.
saying there's like
Did it?
plum derived from?
No, I think it
I
was
thought
a
it
plum
said-
derived from the...
It says an abundance of plum.
I think they were talking about the dark fruit notes that you usually get in this style of beer, and I got a little bit right at the beginning, but then I don't know, maybe as it warmed up or something, it seemed like that kind of faded out.
Yeah, I was getting more chocolate than anything.
Yeah,
It's nice, but it's like, now into like sticky mode, and I'm happy that it's in a small can. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
And to be fair, and like props to them, they are filling this right to the rim. Like each one of these. No,
Those
because
little
I'm
cans?
having a hard time pouring them.
Without making a mess.
Yeah, because
fair.
it's to the rim.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's difficult to run these tiny little cans through a canner.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
oh, that's probably
Yeah, I
that's
was just thinking about
You gotta
that.
have a
Like how
specialized
time
piece of equipment.
effective is this? Yeah. But props to them for doing this though, because
You can kind of tell like the labels kind of slapped on kind of crooked too. So
Yeah, and it's weird because it's
they
like
might
the
have been
logo
drinking
and
some
font
Boris while
were...
we're doing this.
Well, when we come back after the break, we can talk about the headaches of canning machines and label
Sure.
applicators.
Okay, so what shall we rate the double? Yeah, 3. Yeah. Okay, we are going to rate this guy a 3.
Gross.
put a real plum in it next time.
Yeah, it's weird. There's even like a weird plum character guy on the label.
Plum frog.
It's weird.
Okay.
We'll be back in just a minute with more. Welcome back, everyone. Today is a brewery takeover, and we are talking about Hoppin Frog Brewery from Akron, Ohio. And one thing that they are not afraid of is double-digit ABV beers. They are. So we just finished talking about the Plum Tuckered Double Porter.
Can you say that fast?
I know, right? Let's move into the Den Haag English style Imperial Old Ale. Yes. 16.8% ABV, folks. This is the quintessential English style Old Ale, which is a masterpiece, with each sip being a delicious new experience. Notes of fig, molasses, and leather fill your senses, all mingling with wood, vanilla, and dried fruit. We painstakingly researched, perfected, and brewed a special batch of Black Treacle just for this beer. Then we aged Den Haag in rare, sought-after bourbon barrels.
I think it's Haag,
Haag?
maybe. I don't know.
All creating an extremely delicious and memorable character. Well, I'm sorry. It's Mr. Burns Day today, so I guess I'm kind of feeling semi-English, Scottish, or whatever. So thoughts? Any?
I always think old ales should be a little lighter in color. This beer is teetering on black, like it's very dark.
Very.
I like them to be more in that ESB color range. How cool that they went and made their own molasses, basically.
Right.
That's rad.
Rad.
That's so fun.
That's Ohio for you.
Yeah. And, and I think that the flavor notes hit Old Ale for me. It's a big, rich, figgy, it's got that kind of stone fruit background.
Yeah, it's figgy molasses for
Yep,
sure.
That's the same thing I was going to say. So much figgy molasses. And it's a good old ale, but I don't drink a lot of old ales just because the sweetness, generally don't lean towards sweet beers, but it's an old ale. It's checking all the boxes.
Yeah.
And it's a solid version of one.
This is, to me, this is a dead of winter by a fire kind of beer.
They seem to have that dialed in pretty damn good.
I mean, that seems to be their MO, yeah.
They do, but what I'm enjoying about this, though, is that there are some differences. I mean, there's
no
subtle
question.
and I know style to style there's differences, but you're actually getting that. And considering the ABV is blowing out my palate, I'm still noticing differences. And
I can't believe we started.
Impressive.
Yeah, I can't believe we started with the honey blonde. We should have started with their light lager. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
And
their light lager is 9%.
Yeah. I wish this was 9 or 10% instead of 16, 17.
Yeah, I think so. I think
almost,
you
it's
could
too
really
much.
enjoy
Actually,
a full pour of it, or not a full pour.
I think some more hair grew on my chest as we were sitting here, so it kind of balances out the.
So now there's one.
It'll keep you warm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I can't drink very much of a beer like this. 4 ounces is about all I would want.
It's true.
It's a sharing beer for sure.
In an 8-ounce can, sure.
Yeah.
But the one unique
That's
thing
right.
about it that most old ales have that this doesn't is a lot of times you bottle them, you set them aside, you get that little bit of oxidized character.
That's okay.
By
So
being in a can, this thing is
you don't
totally
get that
missing
at
out
all.
on that.
No.
And I thought that was supposed to be part of the stylistic
And the mystique
character
of having that. Yeah.
That old ale.
So
This would be better in a bottle.
yeah. But then again,
You could lick a piece of paper and then you just get both worlds.
Chew a piece of cardboard while I drink it. Yeah, that'd do
that's
it.
fair.
okay, but could you imagine the price point then on a bottle of this versus
Right, a
the
little
can
8-ounce
of
can.
this?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably only a $25 4-pack of 8-ounce cans.
Yeah.
But I do remember when I was introduced to Hopping Frog, everything was 750 bombers.
That's exactly where they started
Or
off.
22 ounce or 750s, yeah.
That was
Yeah,
the
you're
world.
right.
Living
Yeah.
that bomber life.
You're right. You're right.
There's a format that doesn't sell anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Carl, before the break, you were talking about canning. And so to can something small like this,
I mean, so the canning line that we have will run 12-ounce cans or 16s. So it won't go smaller. So you would have to imagine that they have a specific piece of equipment that does these little tiny cans. But the way the labels are applied is those, it's just like Laverne and Shirley, like you've seen it on the TV show. They just march down the little aisle on a conveyor belt and they go through. I'm making a gesture, of course, is very helpful for people who are listening.
sure.
Where they just the sticker gets applied, and the labels. The way that happens is it may not come through straight, and so when you see beer cans where the label is a little jank, it doesn't look like it's completely in line. Like it's not unusual at all.
Sure.
It's actually, especially the smaller they get, the more difficult it is for them to hit.
Well, these probably move around a little bit more too.
Maybe, yes, yeah, because they're not the footprint that they take up is smaller,
Right,
right.
yeah.
So they might tip more. It's a short of them hand applying labels, which is something that we've done once upon a time that I would not recommend. It's always going to hit different. So when you see them, it's just going to look. Sometimes they'll look weird. You just sort of
sure.
figure that variance into your planning. And, there's been plenty of times when we do it where we'll see one come through that's so janky that we'll pull the label off and send it back through. That's also a lot of times while things like this probably cost more. You get a short fill in an 8-ounce can and, that's just 8 ounces. That's garbage. And, the labels don't cost any less because they're smaller. So, you got to be pulling labels off and reapplying them. That just increases the cost of that packaging.
And the swearing.
Wow.
Oh, certainly the swearing.
There's that. Okay, well, it looks like we have time for a couple of bonus beers.
Wait, did we
Did we not rate it?
Did we?
Oh, okay. Okay, 4. Sorry. All right. That's an interesting beer. Okay, well, we do have time for some more. Sorry. It's the ABV.
I know. No. We're going to land this one.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about a Gavel-Slammer Monumental Dark Ale.
Lord have mercy.
Hold your seats here. It's 17.4% ABV. God bless.
Because why not?
Yeah, sure. So, an over-the-top ale like no other, with a gavel-slamming flavor profile. Rich, aromatic, lively, and dark. Going light years over the top of Ohio's old beer alcohol limit. Gavel-Slammer is brewed to celebrate Hoppin Frog putting the hammer down for freedom in brewing Ohio's beer. Because our efforts on August 16th, 2016, we were presented the actual gavel used in the final Senate session that removed Ohio's alcohol limit on beer. Good for them.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. We did our little part, and we're proud of this recognition and our freedom to brew a 17.4% ABV.
Just because you can do something.
Sparky, this is government at work.
All right.
Hats off to these guys, right? As somebody who makes their living on selling beer, like depletions matter, right? You need to sell volume in order to make money. And for an organization, a brewery, to say, you know what, we're going to specialize in brewing beers that are of this ABV weight, like that's a lot, right? It's trying to figure out what do I have to price this at in order to make this make financial sense at the volume that I know, right? Because I can't.
And your distributor would probably say, "Are you out of your mind?" Right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I wonder if they're doing self-distribution in Ohio. They may. They're with TCD, I think, down here. Tennessee Craft Distributing, which is a very small distributor house. So the placements for this beer in the Middle Tennessee market would be very specialized, right? It's going to end up in your craft-centric liquor stores.
Yep.
This isn't something you'd see at the grocery.
Or vape shops.
Or, of course, vape shops. I mean,
sure.
That kind of went without saying, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so for 17.4% beer, and honestly, I think of maybe 2
How many
beers
other
I've had, or 3 that I've had in my life.
I was going to say, what are your comparison points?
Utopias.
Right. I mean,
I know it's big, but I didn't know it's that big from drinking it.
It doesn't taste
It's really
that big.
smooth. You think you're drinking 11-12% Imperial.
Sure, or maybe like the 14s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel it, but you don't really feel it, and
which
that's
is scary.
That 17% beer snuck up on me.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the sweetness, I think, that helps cover some of that alcohol
because there's a lot of it, and it is sticky.
I think a lot of places have like a 2-drink minimum. Their tap room probably has like a 2-drink maximum.
Oh God, yeah. Or are they doing shots of this? I mean, because honestly,
like communion at church, like a little half-ounce pour.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't. Never mind.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, be a bad idea.
I mean, it's a great question. Like, if I was going to pour something like this in our tap room, I probably would pour it in a 4-ounce glass.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you'd. Yeah, I think you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't want people to die.
Right.
You're looking out.
I care about it.
Well, they don't come back if they die.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
They do. Right. Hey, depletions, guys. Doesn't happen when you kill your customers.
No self-imposed depletions.
Oh, boy. Okay, so the Gavel-Slammer. What shall we rate this?
I mean, I think it was pretty good beer.
It's a pretty good beer.
It's a pretty good beer.
For what it is. Okay, we are going to rate it a 4.
Yeah.
But you need to proceed with caution when drinking this.
Maybe it's all the booze talking, but these taste pretty good.
Strangely enough, I have a couple of gavels at home. Don't lock up your gavels before you start drinking this.
Don't start slamming your gavel.
Yeah, you can really hurt somebody. Be careful. Yeah. Be careful.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
we care. Sip Suds and Smokes, we care about our listeners.
Okay. Whoa. Now let's move. We got time for another one, so let's move into a novelty, if you will. This novelty. One, okay.
Is this the one for people who like Girl Scouts?
cookies.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what, yeah, Girl Scout cookies. That's what I
So
meant.
this is only 9.6% ABV.
Oh,
And we're calling
So
this
it's a session Hoppin Frog. Got it.
Samoa cookie beer. So swirls of great chocolate and coconut flavor abound in this inventive beer, made with real coconut to bring you the very best of what we have to offer.
I got banana on the nose, which is
Yeah.
weird. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know. There's definitely coconut there too.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
hate
sure. on the coconut.
coconut, not the taste, the consistency.
That's a no for me, dog.
I think I hate both.
Is this a Samoa?
The taste and the
This doesn't
consistency.
taste like a Samoa.
maybe it's the 10% less alcohol.
I'm not going to
than
continue
more
drinking
alcohol.
this.
I'd like this better if it was 20%.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not digging it.
Yeah. Y'all stop going diet, Hoppin Frog.
Seriously, like-
Stick to your roots.
Stop brewing these NA.
If it's not double digits, don't even call.
This is their version of NA beer, and
Yeah.
And it's weird because coming from that 17.4 and then going down to this, it's like almost tastes like water.
Yeah, this
You know,
is
It's thin.
this is watered down.
yeah,
And in the spirit of honesty, like I like beers that taste like beer.
Sure.
And that's clearly not what they were going for
Right.
with this. So it just doesn't sort of naturally appeal to me. I think they probably hit the mark that they were looking for. They've shown across the beers that we've sampled today that they can be very consistent and do a really good job.
so you're saying you don't want Samoa of this beer?
That's pretty much what I'm saying. There's some lessa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Samoa cookie beer, we are going to rate a 2.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So far, the only miss in the flight.
And, and that says a
been
lot.
a
Which
Strong
I
fight.
feel like
Yeah.
we've given ridiculously high reviews to this thing compared to
I
what we
think their
normally-
beers are ridiculously good.
No, I know.
are.
and
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's uncharacteristic.
Well, and
for
that's
us
part of
to-
the reason why we saved a couple of these for the very end in case we had time.
Do you think there's any hazelnut in this next one? I'm not sure.
Well, folks, so we have time for yet another bonus beer. And this one is special. This is a...
Mama
You know
says
what?
I'm
I actually
special.
don't. I actually kind of like this one.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
this one
if you like
is-
hazelnut, I think you'll like this beer.
If you like hazelnut, you'll love.
The peanut butter hazelnut caramel chocolate cake stout.
They should have just called this the
Now, this one
Nutella
is
beer.
even less ABV than the Girl Scout cookie one.
I love
This
how
is 8% ABV.
I love how it's not only a 4-pack, but it also had some Ozempic attached to it, like as part of the packaging. I thought that was really,
Gift with purchase.
it was kind of like really good cross marketing.
So, Rich,
the enemy. You know what I mean?
so rich, decadent character of a gourmet cake stout will fill your senses with friendly, familiar flavors and aromas of yesteryear. That's what they says. Okay.
That yesteryear I had a cake fight in a bakery. Shall we never forget? You know what this... Okay, I'm sorry. There used to be this like terrible hazelnut coffee my wife used to always get from Fresh Market back in Knoxville during college. That's it. That is like all I'm getting out of this. Sorry. Also, I hate peanut butter.
Okay, so yeah, there's lots of hazelnut on the nose. And
Really?
then-
I don't know about that.
You hate peanut butter?
And then but that old school peanut butter oil slickness, that's there.
Yeah.
You know
That
what
was
I
my
mean?
nickname in high school.
Slickness?
Peanut butter slickness.
Old school.
Oh.
Peanut butter slickness. Yeah.
That's a long nickname.
It's not bad. I wouldn't want a lot of it, but it's interesting.
I like it better than the other one.
It's got all those flavors. Everything on the label is in this beer.
It's there. Yes.
Truth in
Okay.
advertising.
So the peanut butter hazelnut caramel 3, 2,
Yeah,
1,
3.
3. Okay, we'll rate it a 3 just for sake of argument. Okay. Well, you know what? This was a very interesting flight.
We got
and
through
I'm
all
proud
8.
of all of us for getting through 8 beers.
I need a nap.
We drank 175% alcohol.
Yeah.
I only drank 7.
Okay. Good old boy Kendall, thanks so much for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Please tell us about your blog.
Find us at beermakes3.com. My wife and I blog about the good news of good beer.
Good old boy Carl, thanks for being here and thanks for sharing your insight.
Glad to do it.
And how can we find you on socials?
Find me on the Instagram at Black Abbey Carl with a C.
Cool. Good old boy Sparky, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here, and I just put the Bass Pro Shop Aquarium into my GPS, so it'd be great to talk to you guys.
Somebody's going swimming.
I mean, you're not wearing pants.
Yes,
Sure.
we'll see you soon. Good old boy Dave.
People been looking at me. I'm just like, what you looking at, stranger?
This is good old gal Julieanna. Keep on chuggling, and we'll catch you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap
Tap it in.
the subscribe button.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, Uncle Larry, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone. Play podcast Sip Suds and Smokes. We love your feedback, and you can reach us at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram with our handle @SipSudsAndSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands,
millions, and millions
of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor. Take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. Come back, join us for another episode, and keep on sipping.
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.